we're going to be going to maybe Louisiana, and you have New Orleans, which has a crime problem. We'll straighten that out in about 2 weeks. It'll take us 2 weeks, easier than D.C. But we could straighten out Chicago. All they have to do is ask us.
I have a gift for you, and you're looking at it right now. Bill O'Reilly and Stephen A. Smith weighing in on the most important issues that we all face together. And I did not see the federal government getting involved in fighting crime as a thing. But it is, and it's working, and people like it, okay? Now, the question becomes, where does it go? What is the right way for this to go? What is the wrong way? An example of the wrong way. Governor Pritzker of Illinois, I think, has a lot of political cachet, a lot of talent. When you say to the President of the United States, don't come here when you have Chicago on your watch, it looks like you're defending the status quo. My question to you is, Bill, is there a pitfall in this for the president? I think it's working well, but is the military the weakness? And should he change strategy and say, what do you need in New Orleans? What do you need in St. Louis? How can I help? Instead of just always going to the military because of the message that sends to his critics.
Well, you're lucky to have me tonight, Cuomo. Actually, you're lucky to have me any night. And kudos to Dusty, by the way, for putting us on for the hour. I'm going to miss the obscure congressman from Michigan you usually have following me, but you can book him for tomorrow or her or wherever you want. I got the stats. I got the stats in front of me for Chicago. Pritzker is the worst governor in the country. He's worse than Newsom, and it's hard to believe that you could be worse than Newsom. And the reason is that Pritzker doesn't tell the truth, all right? I hate the word lies, but he misleads his own people in Illinois and the nation. So from 2014 to last year, 10 years, there have been more than 7,000 human beings murdered in the city of Chicago.
That is correct.
And Pritzker will tell it's going down. It doesn't help the people in the cemetery, and it isn't going down significantly based on the Labor Day weekend stats that were horrific.
58.
So Pritzker doesn't want to solve the problem. It's too messy because the murders are taking place in the black neighborhoods. 80% of the 7,000 fatalities are African American. And they're being gunned down by drug operations, young people in the streets running wild, okay? Not only are there people being murdered on the South Side, they can't come out of their homes. They can't testify against anybody. It's like the cartels in Mexico. You testify or inform on one of these gang members, you're dead and so is your family, okay? This is a terror situation, and that is the way that Trump is going to get in. Because the posse comitatus law, which is a well-needed law in this country, forbids federal troops from local policing.
Yeah, and I think that's that's my concern.
Local policing.
Yeah, but that's my concern here.
Right.
It's not the what.
But if
Fighting
you
crime is
elevate
good.
it,
It's the how.
No. Okay, but listen to me and take notes. Right now, as we speak, the 5 White House counsels are drawing up for the Supreme Court, because that's where it'll wind up, okay, reasons why these drug gangs are terrorists. And that elevates it from street crime into an area where the president has authority. Now, I don't know if that's going to work, but I do know this. Pritzker is the worst. He doesn't care about these people. He never has. And these murders in Chicago have to stop. And the only one that who can stop it is Trump. The only person on earth who can stop it is Trump.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I think this was a good play for the president that I did not see coming, but I think the how is everything. Saying stay out, Mr. President, we don't need your help, bad look, okay? Bill's right about that. Look, either the numbers are going up or the numbers are going down or the numbers are staying the same. They're going down, but not to anybody's satisfaction. I don't think Pritzker's a liar, but he looks bad until you get to the how. I don't believe the National Guard, whether they find it legally saleable or not, is the answer to bringing anything down. They're not trained for it.
Right.
But it's the right issue, but I think there's an opportunity in going after how you fight crime.
Let me talk to America right now in saying this, okay? The lone black man on this segment is me. I don't need any of Bill O'Reilly's statistics that he just spewed to know that he's right in terms of what has been transpiring throughout in the streets of Chicago. It has been going on for years. It was going on before Obama was in office. It was going on when he was in office. It's been going on since he's been in office. I recall seeing a black couple on national television asking for military assistance. That's how bad it has been in Chicago. And one administration after another has either been incapable or unwilling to do anything about it. It is shameful, and black folks in that city have been getting killed for years, and I'm disgusted at the level of ineffectiveness or unwillingness that they've executed in getting better things done and making it better for the law-abiding citizens in Chicago. Having said that, we got to pay attention to what we got to pay attention, hold on, Bill. We got to pay attention to this. When he went into L.A., that was a bit excessive. You got a bunch of people in L.A. that were talking about stuff was going on in a 2-block radius. It could have been handled by the local PD. In Washington, D.C., that is not a state. You understand? He has the right. It's run by the federal government. He has a right. If he wants to send the National Guard, even though the National Guard isn't trained for that, and when you're sending the Marines or the Army, they're trained to kill. They're not trained to police, so you got to send in the right people. I get that part, but I understand his intent when you're talking about what's transpired in Washington, D.C. Chicago may very well be unlawful, but with Pritzker, you're absolutely right. Yo, what are you going to do about it? It's one thing to say, Trump, don't send in the National Guard. It's another thing for the president to come out of his mouth, I'm here to help if they ask for it, and then for you to say no, and then try to implement laws in place that would prohibit him from sending help. Wait a minute. When that happens, you can't point the finger at Bill O'Reilly. You can't point the finger at Chris Cuomo. You can't point the finger at people that are and just say, oh, it's really not politics. Who the hell are they? It's all about politics if you're a governor and you're going to take that position. So I have no problem with you at all, Bill, calling out the governor of Illinois the way that you have.
Let me throw.
I have a problem with you.
Let me throw. I know you always do because you're jealous. Anyway, let me throw 3 things in. Your last statement was very powerful.
Thank you.
These people, Pritzker and Brandon Johnson, the mayor, cannot admit it. They can't admit it, that it's their fault. Nothing is done to stop the murder in the poor neighborhoods. They won't admit it. They can't admit it. So Pritzker actually said to the press, the motivation for Donald Trump to bring in more protection in the form of the Guard and federal agents is that Trump wants to establish a Nazi hierarchy in this country. Pritzker said that. Now, if you don't think that's a lie, then you don't know what the 8th commandment means, okay? That is so insane. It's like nothing I've ever heard. And Stephen A., just for your frame of reference, which I'm trying to help you with, as you know, the police chief of Los Angeles said to the press, we can't handle this.
I remember that.
He said it.
Yes.
We need help.
Okay. I remember that, but I also remember him being conspicuously quiet thereafter, and the mayor and the governor stepped in and said, we can handle it ourselves. That's entirely different than saying we don't want any, we don't want any help. When you look at Pritzker, right now what you should be doing is this. Excuse me, we don't get this together. I'm going to let the president do what he suggested. I'm going to get the help of the federal government to put a stop to this. He could say something that simple, but it would be giving the president credit.
That's right.
It would be giving the other side credit, and obviously that's where politicization kicks into play, because people are of that mindset, thinking along those lines that it's all about politics because you don't want to receive the obvious help that you need.
Yes.
It's just inexcusable. There's no doubt about it. But I'm aware of what the sheriff said in Los Angeles, California. I'm also aware of the backtracking, and I know that was politicized as well.
There's an opportunity in the how. Someone who got it kind of wrong, then pivoted and is now getting it right, is the governor of Maryland. Governor Wes Moore first said, keep our name out of your mouth. You shouldn't talk about the president of the United States like that, in my opinion. But I get the power play he was making. Then, when people said to him, so you're saying you don't want any of the resources? And the president pivoted and said, I'm here to help, not just National Guard. more pivoted and said, well, we'll work with the president.
That's
Forget
right.
about coming here to work with me.
Remember, I
Let's sit
interviewed
down.
him.
Yes.
He was on my show,
And
and
it was
that's
a
exactly
very
what he
good
said.
pivot that took place in there, and you did a very good job of talking to him about his level of personal accountability as well, I thought. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.